we look back at the terminologies that we used, the trends, the needs, the way that staff were working, the way that we were attracting the right people to the roles. And I think COVID has also changed that for us a little bit. And we talked about this in our last live, in that now the frontline key workers have really got that importance and really now have that reputation for doing something truly outstanding. So we looked at our leadership and our management structure. We looked at our frontline staff, their support that they needed, the resources that we had. And we also then looked at identifying the gaps in what that provision would look like. And we obviously, as you know, found you. And we wanted to make sure that we were revising our entire practice. So we educated the business. We talked about where we wanted to go as a business, not just as a division, and also what our children had and what we needed them to have when they left us. So really that journey that we wanted them to walk away from us with a toolkit, ideally, that they could take that into their future life. And from there, we identified our resources, found innovating minds, and created our first year strategy. And that has really been embedded. You know, we had a really successful year with that. And I know that we're going to hear from one of our colleagues in a little while. But it really has started that change of conversation and how we see incidents, how we see behaviours. And we were talking yesterday actually with somebody about the word behaviour and how negative that can come across, because we often in this industry don't report on good behaviours. So we wouldn't record, Asha had a great day, she was really good, she was skipping around the house and her behaviour was really happy. We wouldn't necessarily write it in that way, but we would write an incident form when something else has happened. And actually the Healing Together programme has helped the staff to see that differently and understand where that child is coming from. So we no longer hear the word naughty children. Actually, what we look at now is, why is the child behaving in that way? Has something happened? What were those triggers? How we can put in those resources and strategies to help them manage those feelings and those thoughts. So as we've come into our second year of that strategy, we've now expanded on that. So we have a new cohort of practitioners going through now for our second work with the Healing Together programme, which is just fantastic. And I think that starts this week, I believe. I think today, actually. As I'm sitting here now, I believe that they are on it, which is really exciting. There was a lot of buzz on our chat group this morning about it, which is really good stuff. And we have changed our whole training programme. So all of our staff team now come in and will complete therapeutic parenting training as we go throughout the year. Our managers are doing trauma-informed environmental work and a course for that as well. So that really helps them create that environment and really set that scene within their homes and expectations really for the staff team that are working with the children. And we are challenging each other, which is really important and is a massive culture change. So we use the term, we are now comfortable at being uncomfortable, and we will quite happily challenge a word that is used or a narrative or a comment that is made on a daily log sheet. We are really having those really difficult conversations that lead to better outcomes really for our team and for our children. And on top of that, and those that are linked in with Salutem, we'll see that we have just onboarded some experts by experience that will give us something else on top. So it really is tapping into the experts that have been through an experience that will help our children or have worked in that field for a very long time. And already we have seen the value that has added. But again, it's changed that thought process for our staff team. And those experts are challenging our staff teams to say, is that the right word? How else could we say that? And that in itself has been amazing. I can't even describe the impact that has made. And I think my colleague will probably describe it a lot better than I will, but it has really changed us as practitioners. And we have seen a lot of benefit from that in a very short space of time.
Okay, so shall we hear from one of the Healing Together practitioners so we can actually experience what the impact the Healing Together programme has had on a young person, but also on one of your key workers as well?
Okay, so I've just done a first session actually, and I apologise in advance if I talk fast about this because I get really excited. I didn't think he was going to engage with me with it. I really didn't. We spoke about it before, and he's like, yeah, okay. And I spoke to his mum, who then spoke to him about it as well. And they was like, yeah, it sounds great. But he wasn't too keen on the grounding.
No.
Well, I kind of done it without him realising. So I was a bit sneaky. So he went into like this room we've got called the sensory room because it's far away from the rest of the house. It's quiet. And I said to him, oh, go on, you sit on the chair. But he'd never sat in a rocking chair before. So he was, yeah.
Ooh.
He never sat in one, so he was a bit wobbly, and I found it funny that he was trying to sit in it, and it kept on moving. But he sat in it. He was, oh, I really like this. And then I started playing with the basket full of toys, and he went, oh, you're such a kid. I said, oh, these are amazing. Fill them, and I'd throw them at him, and he'd catch it, and he'd say, no, I throw it back. And then he found one that he liked, and he squeezed it the whole way through. And
Brilliant.
he didn't even realise that he was regulating himself by rocking and squeezing this ball. But then he engaged so well. He was able to tell me how it felt in his body, like anger felt in his body. He's not like, he doesn't normally give up information. So I was, after the video, and I was like, oh, do you understand that? I said, like, when I get angry, my face goes red. I said, do you ever feel that? And he went, no, I feel like this. And he just told me that he blacks out and told me exactly how he felt. And then it was, oh, honestly, I'm so proud of him. And then afterwards, he, like, in between it, we reflected on a recent incident where he was that angry that he had a massive incident, and he reflected on that during this. Yeah, I was so proud of him. And he did say at the end, I said, so I thanked him. I said, thank you for doing this with me. Thank you for giving me your time, whatever. And he said, the thing is, he said, like, people always tell me this. How does it feel? I said, okay, but we have got like 5 more sessions to do, and you will learn a bit more about it. Not just, oh, by the way, this is how it feels, but you will start to learn how to manage that and what you can do. I said, so this is just session 1. So I think he's quite eager to manage these feelings. Like he doesn't want to be angry, and he wants to learn how to cope with these feelings, which is good. Like if you'd see his risk assessments from 6 months ago, he doesn't express any feeling to the way he is now. And the way he expressed himself during that was just so, like, he was just able to fluently tell me, okay, this is how I feel. It was just, I was so proud of him.